So you thinking of moving to Gilbert, Arizona? But do you have all the facts about Gilbert? Is this the right move for you and your family? You know, maybe you've gone online, you've done some research, maybe you've watched a few videos, you looked at the Metro Phoenix area, and it's so large in population and so spread out geographically, it's like, where do you begin? And maybe you've been drawn to the Southeast Valley and the little town of Gilbert, which happens to be the 5th largest city in Arizona. But is it the right fit for you and your family? So before you make that decision, let me go through. I want to share a few of the positives, a few of the negatives, or what we call the pros and the cons of living here in Gilbert to see if this might be the right fit for you. And with that being said, just sit back and relax, and I'll get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about Phoenix or the incredible suburb like Gilbert, then be sure and subscribe below and tap that bell for notification so you'll be the first to learn about our current market in Phoenix. Hey, my name is Rick, and the team and I, we get calls and emails from people just like you every single day looking to move to a place like Gilbert. So whether you're thinking of moving next week, maybe a month from now, or even a year from now, it doesn't matter. Reach out to us. You can give us a call, you can shoot us a text, you can send us an email. We can even schedule a Zoom call if that works best for you, and we would be more than happy to help you make a smooth move to Phoenix. So when it comes to living here in Gilbert, I'm going to go ahead and highlight 4 pros and 4 cons of living here. All right, the first thing that comes to mind for me in Gilbert is the sense of community, the very small town kind of mentality, a little laid back, very charming. That's all by design, by the way. You know, Gilbert is the 5th largest city in Arizona. It's got a population of almost 275,000 people. So it's kind of a challenge to keep it small town, but yet that's what they want. It's not even defined as a city. That's why it's called the town of Gilbert, because they want it kept that way. And when you think of town, you think of kind of rural America, that small little charming layout. It's a very well laid out city. A lot of the communities we built down in Gilbert back in the day when we were in the building business, you're going to see a lot of tree-lined streets. You're going to see a lot of grass and green belts throughout Gilbert. See some white picket fences around some of the communities. You know, a number of the communities have front porches, so they like to bring the lifestyle from the inside to the outside to encourage people to get outdoors. People down there, you know, people are just very friendly. They get out and they go hiking, they go walking, they push the baby strollers. They just get out and about and talk to one another. They might go meet for breakfast or for coffee or for lunch. But it just has that really small town appeal to it. Very charming. You know, maybe something like you'd see in the Midwest. And that's one of the things when I think about Gilbert and the communities we've built down there, that's kind of the first thing that comes to mind for me. And if that's something that's important to you, this could be a real consideration for you. You know, what else is nice about Gilbert is they have that sense of small town community, but they offer big city amenities, which is pretty nice. For example, they've got a place called the Riparian Reserve Atwater Ranch, and that's a collection of about 7 small little lagoon type lakes where you can fish in. They've got hiking trails around. It's kind of like set up like a nature preserve. It's great to take the family there. They even have a little area you can kind of dig for dinosaur bones, so it's a great place you can take your kids to. They've got the Freestone District Park, which is another popular park. They've got some of these larger parks in Gilbert, which is kind of nice. This sits on almost 90 acres, but it's got a lake there where you can fish in, and it's got a playground for the kids, and it's got various other amenities, you know, located in that park. Another one that comes to mind for me is in the southern part of Gilbert, which is called the Gilbert Regional Park, and that was built about 3 years ago, so it's fairly new. But that sits on over 270 acres. And I mean, they've got an amazing little mountain hill that's a climbing structure and all different slides and stuff. They've got a little water feature inside there. You know, in the summertime, they've got the water pads that can kick on. They've got plenty of covered ramadas around. They even have a big lake there as well that you can go fish in. They've got an area that has set up like an amphitheater where you can go and listen to music. And they've got so much down there. And they're even in the process of building like a water park inside of that park that's going to have like a big surf lagoon and some slides and other things for a nice setup down there. But they've really got some neat parks for this small town of Gilbert. They do have some shopping areas down there. One of their main shopping areas to get outdoors is called Santan Village. They don't have really any big shopping malls, though they're in Chandler and South Scottsdale, but they do have the Santan Village. They've got all your big box retail stores, and they got several other stores where you can shop, and they've got restaurants and what have you. So there really is a lot to do in Gilbert, depending on what it is that you want to do. So offers a lot, that's for sure. All right, this third item, and this should probably be really number one, but I didn't have these in any particular order. But Gilbert is one of the safest cities in the country. WalletHub ranked it in 2022 as the 7th safest city in the entire country. So that's a great comfort level, especially for families. You got kids that like to play outdoors. You can kind of give you some comfort knowing that, hey, if the kids go outside and play, that the safety issue is going to be in place, so you can feel pretty safe about that. And another great thing too, especially if you travel a lot or you're in and out of town, you'll have the peace and mind and comfort of knowing that your family's going to be safe and secure back home. So that's really one of the biggest draws to Gilbert, is just the safety that it has here in this town. The crime rate is extremely low. It's half what the national average is. So just take comfort in knowing that you live in Gilbert, you're going to live in a safe city. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up with the fourth item here, and that would be the education system here in Gilbert. Gilbert has the 4th best school district in the entire country. They've got 11 A+ rated schools, so it's top notch from elementary all the way up through high school. If your kids play sports, they've got an amazing athletic programs in several of these high schools as well. They also have some great charter schools and private schools if you want to go that direction. But just know that when you live here in Gilbert, they're going to get a quality education. And like I said, if they play sports, they're going to have some great opportunities and some wonderful schools here in Gilbert. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the 4 cons of living here in Gilbert. The first item that comes to mind is cost of living. If you look at the U.S. index, which uses a metrics of 100, Gilbert's over 100 in most categories. There are a few that are less than 100, but a majority of them are up over 100. So it's a little bit more expensive living here in Gilbert. I will say in the Metro Phoenix area, overall it's more expensive than on the national average, especially when it comes to housing. Right now, the median home price here in Gilbert is $525,000. That was in December of 2022. Going back to May, which was kind of the high water mark that we've had the last few years, it was $620,000 was the median home price, which was twice the national average. So it's come down almost $100,000 just in the last 6 months. But just know that when you move here to the Valley, especially move to a town like Gilbert, although it's a great place to live, it is going to be a little bit more expensive to live in Gilbert than maybe Chandler, which is next door, or Mesa, Santan Valley, or Queen Creek, which is also down in that southeastern part of the valley. So you just have to take that into consideration, that the cost of living is going to be a little bit higher here in Gilbert. All right, another item here about living in Gilbert as far as the cons go, this would be the second item, to me would be the air quality. It's kind of twofold. One is, we live in a very arid, dry climate here in the Metro Phoenix area. We do live in the desert, especially down in the Southeast Valley where Gilbert is. There aren't a lot of big mountain ranges around it, so it's pretty open. We get a lot of dust storms that kick in through Gilbert, so you'll get a lot of dust kicked up in the air, and it could impact your allergies. Depending on where you live now, if you've got allergies, chances are you might have a different set of allergies when you get here. Some people it bothers, others it doesn't, so it just kind of know that coming in, that might have a little bit of an impact. And secondly, we dealt with this when we were in the building business. For years, this was a strong agriculture area down here in the Southeast Valley, and there were some dairy farms at one time. It's not as bad today as it used to be, but when you got several thousand head of cattle in one particular area, and you know what comes with it. When the winds blow easterly and they kind of come across towards the west, depending on the time of day, you could get that nice aroma coming from the dairies. And I know that because we built down there and we kind of built around some of these dairies. But I will say this, due to the population growth and the amount of people that are moving into Gilbert, a lot of these farmers are selling their property, so it's not as bad today as it was several years ago. But just know, if you get down there and you got that certain aroma in the air, chances are it might be coming from a nearby dairy. So just know that going in. And another drawback to Gilbert, unfortunately, although it has the Heritage District, which is downtown, it's got some nice little restaurants down there, very popular destination. Gilbert just doesn't have a large nightlife. So, if you like the nightlife and you like to get out and go here and go there, and you want a place like South Scottsdale or Old Town where it's a happening spot and a lot of stuff going on, you're not going to find it in Gilbert. You're going to have more things to do during the day, but the nightlife is going to be more restricted. So, Gilbert does have the draws of all the other things that we've talked about, but if you like to get out and go kick your heels and go have some fun and go do some things, there's less to do in Gilbert than other parts of the valley. So you're probably going to have to drive a distance to go do that. So you just kind of have to plan accordingly. But nightlife down in Gilbert, well, there's not a whole lot of it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish it up with this last con. And another thing that comes to mind for me is, as I mentioned earlier, that Gilbert is the 5th largest town or city here in Arizona with a population of 275,000. It's still growing. It's one of the most popular suburbs here in the Metro Phoenix area. And when it's all said and done over the next few years, they anticipate about 330,000 people living here in Gilbert. And with that, everybody seems to drive, either having 1 or 2 cars at home. And so in the wintertime, guess what? Everything gets backed up. The freeways get backed up. The on-ramps, the off-ramps are backed up. Even your main streets throughout the city get all backed up and jammed up. So you just have to have a lot of patience when you live here, especially in the wintertime. It is what it is. We've got great weather here. You get a lot of people coming here in the wintertime to take advantage of that. Gilbert's no exception. A lot of people come down here to the Gilbert area as well, the Southeast Valley. And so there's just more and more cars and vehicles on the road. And you just have to understand that. Like I said, you just have to have a lot of patience. The restaurants get backed up. If you've got favorite places you like to eat or you might have to make a reservation ahead of time just to avoid any having to wait and stand around, that kind of thing. But hey, it is what it is. If you live here, we've got great weather and you got a lot of traffic, especially in the wintertime. So just drive safe and just be prepared. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I gave you a few pros, a few cons of living here in Gilbert. Overall, Gilbert's a great place to live. Like I said, it's a real sense of community. It's very family friendly. People are out and about. There's a lot of things to do, some great restaurants. There's some shopping to take advantage of, a number of nice parks around. And so I hope you like this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. And we've got videos coming out every week. So be sure and subscribe to this channel and be sure and hit that bell for notifications so you'll be the first to learn about our current market in the Metro Phoenix area. So, hey, until next time, thanks again for watching, and we hope to have the opportunity to show you around town.